Welcome to Joburg Today. I'm your host, Leroy Viadji. Would you ever take a short mini lift using public transportation? Well, the Gautrain has embarked on a project designed for people to go sightseeing using public transportation. Let's take a look, see what that's about.
The Gautrain is running a #FoundMyWay campaign during this Easter season to encourage people to use public transport and also to know their city.
We find that the Gautrain is not just transport to and from a destination, but there are so many places of interest, beautiful places that people can go, and especially now during the Easter time, we are hoping that people that stay in Gauteng can go along the system and visit some lovely places that we have. And the nice part is that SA Tourism came on board and is also handing out a brochure of all different value adds that you can do when you go visit places.
Public transport should not only be used to go to work, but it should be incorporated as part of everyday lifestyle.
If we incorporate public transport as a lifestyle, it makes people want to use it more easier, more often, because you can see that there are things you can do when you're using the train. At this station, Sandton Station, if you would notice that we have the taxis in the station, so there's a nice integration between our taxi service, the train itself, buses, and the ordinary taxis are out there. So that gives you a nice blend that you can get around and go everywhere. You come in with Gautrain, mixing into other transports and getting to other destinations.
Some commuters think that the new way to travel around Johannesburg is through using public transport.
I think public transport is more advanced, more than when we are using our own private transport. In public transport, we get to go places with cheap things.
You gotta travel, you gotta get different experiences.
To be part of the ongoing initiative until the 24th of March, you have to take a selfie, put it on your social media, Instagram and Twitter with the #FoundMyWay, and you might be the lucky person to explore your city through public transport. I'm Pomashego for Joburg Today.
Like us on Facebook, that's JoburgToday.tv. Follow us on Twitter at Joburg Today. Celebrating 20 years of South Africa's Constitution was central theme behind this multimedia event hosted at the Constitutional Hill in Johannesburg. The story behind the theme is to celebrate South Africa's transition to democracy.
The journey that marked the signing of the South African Constitution was recollected and retold at the iconic Constitutional Hill in Johannesburg, South Africa. The Ichikowitz Family Foundation held the commemoration by showcasing their heritage art collection at the event.
And the African Oral History Archive was all about collecting original testimony from our struggle, allowing future generations to meet in person the individuals that were responsible for the struggle, that were involved in negotiating the settlement, and ultimately responsible for writing our constitution.
It was, in fact, an innovative multimedia event that showcased rare footage, bringing to life some of the key history makers and memorable moments that shaped South Africa's history.
We started with video, with documentary. We progressed to filmmaking, feature filmmaking, and we realized that we had collected amazing stories, but what was missing was to capture the emotion of the time. So we then started the Heritage Art Collection, which is today one of the biggest collections of street art that's ever been put together. Why? Because the street art of the time captures the emotion of the time, the stuff you can't write down, the stuff that we can't go back in a time machine to experience.
South African political dignitaries were also in attendance, keen to share their experiences and involvement in the struggle.
I was very fortunate to be one of the 3 people who were sent to South Africa from exile. Myself, President Zuma and Mr. Maduna, to come and start the process of negotiations. We were a little bit naive. We thought it would take 6 months to start the process and then we'll get going. But we came across many obstacles which needed to be dealt with. For example, to stop the execution of those who were sentenced to death, get exiles back, prisoners out, removal of the laws which prohibited freedom of activities.
The evening is one of deep reflection.
reflecting on the past of South Africa, celebrating everything that has been achieved following the shift from an apartheid era to that of a democratic nation. Reflecting on the Constitution of South Africa, which is one of the most advanced constitutions in the world, and reflecting on the future of South Africa as South Africans approach local elections amidst political tension and economic uncertainty. Nashina Mohammed for Joburg Today.
Hey, what's up? I'm Fabi Mulo. You're watching Joburg Today.
For more on this story, follow the hashtag human rights. Well, that's it from me, Leroy. See you next time.